Good morning. It is 8:15 a.m. on. Sorry, I'm distracted. My computer's doing something. 8:15 a.m. on Monday, April 5th, 2021. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. I'm taking the day off. Combination of sort of being encouraged to take a day off today from work and also just feeling like, you know what, I could use it. So that's nice. Yesterday, I watched Nomadland, which is um, the motion picture starring Frances McDormand, nominated for a bunch of Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress for Frances McDormand. Let's see, Best Adapted Screenplay, I believe. Yep. And then maybe Best Editing. I think there's one more. Best Cinematography. And Best Editing. Yeah, that's it. So, obviously, in terms of my Oscar marathon progress, it's another, it's a chunk there. Um, I had resisted this one a little bit, and I'm not entirely sure why, but just something about what little I knew about it made it feel like it wasn't high on the list to watch. And ultimately, what made me pick it is I was initially thinking that I might watch The Father, which is another one that's nominated for a bunch of things. But that one, currently, you would have to rent it for $20 because it's, movie studios are still experimenting with how to release movies right now. But Nomadland was free to watch on Hulu without ads. And so that's ultimately why I picked it. But here's the thing. I really loved it. It's very moving. It's not what I expected, even though I'm not sure I had really any kind of clear expectations for what it is. But it really worked on me with a caveat. So first of all, if you don't know anything about it, basically the plot is pretty simple. It is Frances McDormand plays a woman who finds herself in a situation where she decides to basically live out of her van, and she kind of travels around taking what kind of short-term gig economy type jobs she can, but with an intent that living in her van and doing that is the plan, right? Like that's what she's trying to do. There's an aspect to the nomadic lifestyle that she wants, desires for complex reasons, and that the movie is her exploration into the kind of culture of people who do that. And they all have their own complex reasons for it too. And it's really wonderful. Now, the caveat that I mention is that there's a little bit of weirdness where one of the temporary jobs she gets and goes back to is at an Amazon fulfillment center. And this is based on a real thing that Amazon fulfillment centers do, where they have like this camper force where they basically encourage people who are doing kind of what she's doing. Like they kind of have like this sponsorship program for many people who are, like elderly and don't have a lot of else to, to offer them, and they're living out of campers or vans or whatever. And it gives them like a sponsored campground to kind of be while they come and work in the fulfillment center. But the thing is, like, obviously Amazon's in the news a lot recently because there's concern from many quarters about whether their work practices are good or not. Because on the one hand, it's like, oh, isn't it nice for them to sponsor the campground so that they get cheap labor that they don't have to offer any benefits to. So the movie feels like, it's not, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a positive depiction of Amazon, but it is also not especially interested in really plumbing the depths of criticisms about Amazon either. And there's an awful lot of Amazon logo prominently featured during those sequences, and it feels weird to me, honestly. I have to say, I read some articles about it, and there were some points made kind of on both sides of how it's depicted in the movie. And so I will say that watching it before I read any of that, it felt weird to me. But with that said, I think the movie is really wonderful. It's beautiful about depicting the natural geography of the land she travels through. It's moving in terms of Fern, the character played by Frances McDormand, her own struggles and victories, and the other characters she meets along the way. It's really wonderful. So I heartily recommend it, but I think that it also potentially should be used as a launching off point to talk more about what Amazon does with their Camper Force stuff and in general, and also about, hey, gig economy in general, and how our society treats people in that situation. Anyway, I'll leave it there, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.